Hey, what up, everybody? CB Breach coming to you. Got a good little video about the WWE in 2002 and what could have been a whole bunch of different changes that come along. This video is mostly brought to you by Twitter. It's all about one man's tweets. I found this one guy through the I Want Wrestling podcast with Dave Lagana. He has a portion of his podcast called Formula Creative, where he goes out and he talks to members that were formerly on the WWE creative team. They talk about what's going on in wrestling today. Sometimes they talk about what was going on in the past. And I followed most of these guys on Twitter because of the cool thing that these guys are former creative members. Most of them that he talks to are real wrestling fans from back in the day, so they have an opinion that matters. And a little bit of it, is they know Vince McMahon, they know the inner circle of what goes on. They worked on the SmackDown team or the Raw team. They know how stuff gets fed through the line before it finally gets put on TV. So it's worthwhile to follow these guys. But more than any time today, this one man, Seth Mates. I apologize if I butchered his name. I'm not sure, but I will put the annotation down there at the bottom for you. But today he just unloaded. I actually sent the tweets out to follow this guy because he was ranting on WWE pretty good. He was ranting on the SummerSlam buy rate being down again, and just saying how they haven't had a big mega event, a big main event for SummerSlam. That's why the buy rates keep going down, is because we haven't had anything real big since Hogan and Shawn Michaels, anything to really grab a hold to make people come back from the past. I thought that this year with CM Punk and John Cena, I thought it had as big as build as it could. I mean, there was a lot of mainstream attention on CM Punk at that time. A lot of people were coming back to see what was going on. This is, of course, after he won the title for Money in the Bank and took his week-long or 2-week-long hiatus, however long it was. And he was coming back, and they actually were unifying the two titles, since John Cena had one title and CM Punk had another. But he ranted on that for about a good couple of minutes, and then after that, out of the middle of nowhere, he just goes, I found this pad of paper from from WWE in 2002 when we were jotting down notes for what was going to be happening in the future, and I couldn't believe it. It's not a whole bunch of stuff, but these tweets really meant a lot to me, and I just couldn't believe it. Most of them had to do with the No Mercy 2002 pay-per-view, Survivor Series 2002 pay-per-view, and then also some crap on the Armageddon 2002 pay-per-view. 2002 was a great year in wrestling to me. It wasn't no 2001 or 1998 or nothing like that, but I loved watching wrestling at that time. It was pretty good stuff. It was right before I took my hiatus, I guess you can say, from watching wrestling, just because I couldn't put up with it anymore. But I thought this stuff was really, really good. Basically, from these, he talked about, the tag team of 2002 that was Ray and Edge that was on SmackDown. They won the titles. They had a couple good runs. The original grouping of that was Ray against Rikishi. That's something that I don't think that would have caught on just as well as Edge did. And I think that the pairing of Edge versus Rey Mysterio, not taking anything away from Christian, was what helped bring Edge out of his shell a little bit more and bring him more towards the the mainstream. It just caught more people's attention to him. Also, going back, talking about good old No Mercy 2002, which was highlighted by the Hell in the Cell match against Taker and Brock Lesnar. That was originally supposed to be a Texas death match. Texas death match is mostly like a last man standing match. Basically, you fight to the death, and then once you pin a guy, you actually have to make sure he stays down for a 10 counter. It keeps on going. I think that the Hell in the Cell match between them, that was won by Brock Lesnar, was, I mean, that to me is what made Brock Lesnar real to me. Like, he had been a huge monster that I was just like, whoa. But in order to beat Undertaker in the Hell in the Cell, to me, that's what really made him and put him on the top for me, and really solidified himself as a main eventer. I'm not real sure that if it was a Texas death match, it really would have been the same thing. It was just like, wow. And for it to be anything else really surprised me. Then going on to good old Survivor Series. Survivor Series was highlighted by the first ever Elimination Chamber match. What if I would have told you that the original plans for Survivor Series was to bring back War Games. Wow. I mean, basically, a lot of people have wanted WWE to bring back War Games ever since WCW went out of business, and they bought all the rights, everything like that, and it's one of the real things that wrestling is missing out there. It was supposed to be the team of Evolution, and who the fuck were they going up against? They were going up against RVD, Booker, Kane, and Dreamer. The reason why Shawn Michaels wasn't there is because Shawn Michaels was still selling his SummerSlam injuries. He hadn't came back and really started wrestling that full time thing. He was when he was going through that deal when he was only going to wrestle about 5 times a year. This was going to be really the coming out party of Evolution. They more than likely probably would have won that match, much like how they really went on their run through then. Also, one more thing about Survivor Series 2002, the original pairing of a match was Brock Lesnar against Hulk Hogan. Of course, Brock Lesnar went on to fight Big Show, and I think this is the first time that Brock Lesnar lost. But the original reason why the Hulk Hogan versus Brock Lesnar match didn't go on was because Hulk asked to win. Of course, everybody knows if you have the Brock Lesnar, Here Comes the Pain DVD, one of the extras on this is from SmackDown, a great match, Brock Lesnar against Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan puts over Brock Lesnar clean in the ring. I'm guessing that he was hoping that was going to be his payment for that. I guess everybody knows the story that the reason why Hogan laid down for Goldberg on Nitro and gave him the title was because WCW promised that he was going to be the first guy. So maybe he was looking for the same sort of deal to be the first guy to sort of beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, of course, lost his first match to Big Show, and I think around that time he got injured because the next bit of news that was about Armageddon 2002 was one of the big feuds going on at that time was Edge and A-Train. They fought to a real good match. I believe this one ends with a DQ where Edge knocks out A-Train with the chair. But the original pairing was for Edge to go up against Brock Lesnar. And I know Edge didn't become the real main eventer till later when he had his battles with John Cena. But, if Edge would have been able to step up to the plate with Brock Lesnar, and even if he didn't win the feud, even if he was just able to hold his own, I think that main event push for Edge, which you knew that they were trying to push for a long, long time, I think that he would have been there sooner. Um, I think that's really really cool. That Seth came out and gave it this stuff. He didn't really give us the timeline of stuff, but a SmackDown tip that was also going around was they were going to give Matt Hardy a push for the cruiserweight titles, and he was going to be El Matador, which I guess he was going to be like a masked sort of guy. Of course, it would have been cool to me at that time. I was a big Matt Hardy fan. I still could be if I just didn't see all the YouTube crap and really figure out how much of a guy this guy was. But back in the day, I don't think it would have been as big as his version 2 or version 1.0, whatever he called himself when he came out there with him and Shannon Moore. I think that caught on a lot more than it was supposed to. But honestly, I think Matt Hardy could have pulled off some sort of, mask gimmick where he was going out being the cruiserweight. I don't even think he would have needed to be heel. I think he could have been a face at that time, and it would have caught on. 2002 also is no, the Hurricane was already wearing a mask at that time, so maybe they would have paired them up to go up against each other. I'm not 100% sure, but wow, WWE 2002 would have been a whole lot different if some things would have gone a little bit different. Of course, hopefully you guys will go check out the Seth Mates on Twitter. He's the one who dumped all this stuff on me. He's a former creative member, like I said. I'll put his little @ symbol so you guys can go check him out. Hopefully you guys follow him, and he can give us some more stuff if he ever finds more notepads lying around. But hopefully I can also dig up his podcast with Dave Lagan. I'll link that on here in the description box so you can hear more about this guy. But definitely check out I Want Wrestling, and thank you very much.